Spoilers ahead. Watch out, and take care. The movie begins with two boys, Je-hoon and Jae-hong, picking up their friend Jun-sok, who has just been released from jail after a 3-year sentence. It turns out the three of them had committed a robbery together 3 years ago, and Jun-sok was the one who got caught. They now have only $2,000 left from the stolen money, which shocks Jun-sok. While in jail, he made friends who told him that he could leave Korea for an island that resembles Hawaii, if he brought $200,000. This was his childhood dream, influenced by his mother's wish for him to live a peaceful life in Hawaii. However, this dream now seems shattered. He visits his mother's shop, where he finds a photo of his mother. The shop's condition has deteriorated due to ongoing riots and protests. The three friends head to an illegal gambling house, where various games are being played. Jun-sok notices a significant amount of money in one place, and meets a boy named Hai Sang-soo. Jun-sok had lent money to Sang-soo, but in the midst of the riot, Sang-soo's financial situation worsened, and he couldn't repay the $10,000 he owed. Knowing his predicament, Jun-sok realizes that money is not an option for him. Instead, he suggests that Sang-soo can help in a different way. It's revealed they are planning a robbery in the gambling house, where Sang-soo works. Left with no other choice, he reluctantly agrees. However, Je-hoon is not on board with the plan. He believes the gambling house is tied to dangerous gangsters, and robbing it could put their lives at risk. He insists they should target a bank for a safer heist. In response, Jae-hong points out that robbing a bank would attract the attention of the police, while the money from the gambling house would be untraceable. Je-hoon remains unconvinced, and Jae-hong reminds him how Jun-sok took the fall for their crime 3 years ago, in order to protect both of them. They owe Jun-sok a debt for his sacrifice, and this prompts both Je-hoon and Jae-hong to agree to the plan to rob the gambling house. Their planning begins, and they start conducting reconnaissance around the building. They take pictures, to assess the number of security cameras and determine how long it would take for the guards to respond to an alarm. After calculating all the details, they realize they have just a 5-minute window to enter, steal, and escape. Jun-sok points out they can't use the main entrance, as it's the only entry point, and would be expected. Instead, they decide to approach from the roof, a less expected route for the thieves. In their preparation, they needed a substantial number of firearms. Jun-sok visits Woo-shik, a supplier of such weapons, and acquires a significant arsenal from him. Woo-shik remains unaware of their intentions to target the illegal gambling house for the heist. One fateful night, the three of them initiate their daring heist, descending onto the illegal gambling house from the roof. Initially, Jun-sok experiences fear, but he quickly gathers his composure, and forcefully enters the establishment, taking down everyone inside. He proceeds to confront a girl, holding her at gunpoint, and demanding that she fill a bag with all the money. However, in a moment of panic, the girl activates the alarm, realizing they have limited time to complete their heist, due to the significant amount of money involved. Successfully grabbing the money, they make their getaway. However, goons arrive at the scene, spotting them from the rooftop. In a desperate bid to escape, they manage to evade the pursuers, and flee through an alternate route. Upon reaching their car and gaining some distance, they take a moment to regroup. Everyone in the car is curious whether Jae-hong managed to secure the hard drive, as it contained video footage captured by all the cameras inside the gambling house. He reveals the hard drive, and after confirming, the group erupts in celebration, thrilled by the success of their significant heist. We are introduced to a dangerous individual named Han, who receives a call from the owner of the gambling house. The owner informs that the stolen hard drive contains incriminating videos of meetings involving influential individuals. If these videos were to be exposed, it would create significant problems for those involved. The owner also reveals that the money stolen was not particularly valuable, as they hadn't even reached the main vault, they had taken funds from outside. Consequently, the stolen money is of little concern to them. Recognizing the severity of the situation, Han is tasked with pursuing the 4 individuals who stole the hard drive, to prevent its contents from being leaked. Next, Jun-sok gives his share of the stolen money to Sang-soo, and invites him to join them. However, he declines, explaining that if he misses work on the same day of the heist, he would immediately become a suspect, as he had previously taken a day off for a different criminal activity. The three of them depart in a car, and their next destination is Je-hoon's house. Among the group, Je-hoon is the one with a family, while Young-ho and Jun-sok are both orphans. Their plan is to spend a day at Je-hoon's house, and then depart for the island by boat the next day. Meanwhile, Han, the hired killer, goes to the man who supplied the guns to the group. Han questions him about the group's whereabouts, but the man remains silent. Frustrated, Han proceeds to eliminate all of the man's associates, and threatens him with a gun, prompting the man to flee in fear. The man attempts to contact Jun-sok, but during their conversation, Jun-sok inadvertently reveals his location. This leads to Han tracking him down. After the call, Jun-sok becomes suspicious, and decides to go to a hotel with his friends for safety. Next, Sang-soo returns to his job, where all the waiters are gathered. As the situation becomes increasingly perilous, he realizes he can no longer stay there. He seizes an opportunity to slip away, under the pretext of going to the restroom, and makes a swift escape. He heads to the shop where his money is stored. As he retrieves his funds, Han arrives and shoots him on the spot. Meanwhile in the hotel, Jun-sok has a disturbing dream about Sang-soo's death. This dream leaves him deeply distressed. Upon leaving his room and sitting in the dining area, Jun-sok attempts to call him, but his phone rings back on the table, leaving him in shock, realizing someone else has the phone. Terrified, he rushes back to his room, and decides to flee with his friend. They prepare by donning bulletproof jackets inside their car. The threat to their lives is intensifying. As they attempt to escape, they encounter an issue with their car, presumably due to sabotage. In their haste, they abandon the malfunctioning vehicle, and switch to another car. After some quick thinking, they manage to start the new car and continue on their way. However, this is when Han catches up with them, and opens fire on their vehicles. In the crossfire, a bullet strikes Jang-ho's shoulder. Their car collides with another vehicle, leading to a chaotic scene. Han approaches Jun-sok's car, where Je-hoon is unconscious. Han forcibly removes Jun-sok from the car, who, filled with fear and dread, closes his eyes and cannot face the impending danger, as Han points his gun at him. Observing his intense fear, Han gives him a 5-minute head start, and tells him that he can run. Jun-sok seizes this opportunity and manages to drive to the hospital, where Jang-ho undergoes treatment. Now in a different city, they believe they are safe from Han, as Jang-ho is in poor condition. They plan to leave the next morning. However, during the night, while Je-hoon sleeps, Jun-sok remains vigilant. He notices Han has found them. Quickly, he wakes up Je-hoon and Jang-ho, and they make a frantic attempt to flee. The killer spots them and opens fire, but they narrowly escape and reach their car. The relentless pursuit by Han continues. As they flee in the assumed police officer's car, they soon realize the car's true ownership. Nevertheless, they continue driving in the car. During their escape, they receive a call from Han. Jun-sok, desperate to end this situation, offers to return all the stolen money, assuming he's a police officer. He questions why Han is pursuing them, and he and his friends are willing to surrender to the police, in return for their safety. However, Han rebuffs this offer, explaining that once he starts a job, he sees it through to the end. It doesn't matter to him whether they go to jail or not, he's relentless and will pursue them no matter what. Jun-sok realizes that turning themselves into the police won't resolve the problem, as Han is determined to eliminate them. He realizes that seeking help from the police is futile, as they may also be implicated in the situation. He continues to evade Han, and eventually finds an empty apartment. From there, he contacts his friend, who is arranging their journey to the island. The friend informs him that even if they hurry, they will only reach their destination by the next morning, and they'll have to spend one night at the apartment. Elsewhere, Bong-sik's brother, Bong-soo, is seeking revenge for his brother's death. He is determined to take matters into his own hands, and along with his associates, goes after Han. Je-hoon experiences a troubling dream that leaves him anxious about the safety of his family. Worried about their well-being, he quickly calls his mother. However, when he reaches her, he learns that his family is in a dangerous situation, and his mother is in a state of fear and distress. This realization heightens his concern that something is seriously amiss. Je-hoon's mother refrains from revealing too much over the phone, and simply instructs him to stay safe wherever he is. Alarmed by this conversation, he swiftly acquires a car and rushes to his home. Upon meeting Jun-sok outside his apartment, Je-hoon conveys that he can no longer join them on their journey, because he must go to his family. With that, he departs from the group to address the urgent situation involving his loved ones. As night falls, Han once again closes in on their location. Jun-sok spots him through the apartment window, and realizes the danger they are in. In response, both Jang-ho and Jun-sok grab their guns, and make a quick decision to split up and flee in different directions to evade Han's pursuit. After separating, they attempt to fire their weapons at Han to fend him off. However, their poor marksmanship becomes evident, as not a single one of their bullets manages to hit him. Despite their efforts, he remains unscathed. During the encounter, one of Han's bullets hits Jun-sok, causing him to fall to the ground. Fortunately, the bulletproof jacket mitigates the impact, so he's not severely wounded. In response to seeing him injured, Jae-hong becomes furious and confronts Han, attempting to fire at him. However, Han manages to evade all his bullets, and in return, shoots Jae-hong with another bullet, gravely injuring him. Joon-sok manages to rescue Jae-hong, and takes him inside a building, but sadly, Jae-hong succumbs to the wounds. Overwhelmed by grief and anger, Joon-sok confronts Han, firing at him in a fit of rage. Han shoots Joon-sok as well, who collapses on the ground. Han steps forward, aiming his gun at Joon-sok. However, this time, Joon-sok's eyes are open, and he faces his impending death with resolve, showing no fear in the face of his assailant. Just as he is about to be killed, a group of masked men, led by Bong-soo, arrives to take down Han. They shoot Han multiple times, and he falls into the sea. At dawn, Joon-sok boards a boat to Kenting, Taiwan. He discovers that Han survived, and Je-hoon died after returning home. Realizing that running won't set him free, Joon-sok undergoes training, arms himself, and decides to return to South Korea to confront Han once and for all. The end. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this. Turn on the notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out.